Top 10 Strangest Creatures Recently Discovered. About 15,000 new species are discovered each year from around the world, and today we've curated a special list of species that may pique your interest. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to go over the top 10 strangest creatures recently discovered. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10. Hog-nosed rat. The charming animals are known as hog-nosed rats, and researchers just discovered them in 2015 on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. The mouse has only been sighted on the island on the slopes of Mount Baker, where it digs for earthworms and beetles. They've acquired specific adaptations to find food in this environment. The most visible feature is their noses, which assist them in smelling the finest spots to dig, and their front feet, which are ideal for moving the ground aside to examine what's beneath. Their size is extraordinarily lengthy for rats, which is thought to have evolved so that they can penetrate their prey and remove it from the ground. And they have significantly longer pubic hair than any other known rat. Their jaws, on the other hand, aren't quite as strong as those of other closely related species, which is likely due to the fact that worms and beetle larvae don't require forceful chewing. Number 9. Neopalpa donaldtrumpi. Take a look at the Neopalpa donaldtrumpi, a moth species that was discovered in 2017 in Southern California and northern Mexico. The yellowish-white tint of its head scales distinguishes it from other Neopalpa moths, which is why it seemed natural to name it after the ex-president. The scientist who came up with the term stated that he had another reason for doing so. As a result, the species received more attention and was highlighted how critical it is to protect endangered habitats around the world. Because of the places where they are found, the Neopalpa donaldtrumpi is particularly vulnerable to urbanization, and it's conceivable they won't be there for much longer. The moths are only a few inches long, but their antennae stretch well beyond that, measuring nearly 2/3 the length of their wings. Males and females have extremely similar appearances, but the reproductive organs are substantially smaller than in other comparable species for unknown reasons. Number 8. Sea toad. Deep-sea anglerfish known as sea toads can be found in the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans at a depth of roughly 8,000 meters. They have big, translucent, bulbous bodies, short tails, and are covered with little spiky scales, giving them an odd appearance. They are thought to reach a maximum size of roughly 12 inches long and feature a unique gill adaptation. That means they can inhale massive amounts of water, resulting in an almost 3-fold increase in body size. This is a good defensive strategy since it makes any potential attackers reconsider attacking. One of their dorsal fins has a bioluminescent grass that hangs in front of their mouth to attract prey, while their other fins resemble legs, as do all anglerfish. They appear to stroll around the bottom with these, and in other circumstances they appear to stand stationary in the silt on one leg, somewhat like a flamingo. They can't swim well because of their fin modifications, thus they've been seen utilizing their legs to help them navigate the surroundings and avoid danger. Number 7. Wallace's giant bee. While we've known about Wallace's enormous bees for a long time, they were assumed to be extinct until a recent discovery. Wallace's huge bees were named after a researcher named Wallace who first reported them in 1858. Females can grow to be 1.5 inches long with an open wingspan of up to 2.5 inches, making them the world's largest known bee species. They're black resin bees, which means they don't live in the vast colonies that honeybees do. Instead, they're assumed to take over termite nests inside trees and reinforce the walls with tree resin to protect them. They are only known to have existed on 3 islands in the world, all of which are in Indonesia. Because of their life cycles and the remoteness of their habitat, little is known about their distribution or how many there are. But to give you a sense of how elusive these huge bees are, just 4 sightings have been reported in the last 40 years. Number 6. Cave-dwelling beetle. Caves are great places to go if you're looking for a new species because the dark, dirty environment gives plenty of hiding places that previous researchers may have missed. The cave-dwelling beetle, Schudiates felis, is a recent finding that can only be found in Duan, in the Chinese province of Guangxi. It has been called the most cave-adaptive method yet discovered, and it is well suited to its environment. They don't have eyes because no light enters the cave where they reside, and they don't have wings or pigmentation either. They have thin bodies that are up to 1/3 of an inch long and a twelfth of an inch wide, and their yellowish-brown hue and shining head make them immediately identifiable. Because they are a newly discovered species, it is impossible to see them in their natural habitat. Nothing is known about how they hunt for food or even what they like to eat. They are thought to scavenge for microplant particles in the caves, but it's also likely that they devour smaller critters. Number 5. Tardigrades. One of the most incredible known species on the planet, and despite their discovery in the 18th century, we are only now beginning to understand how unique these microscopic organisms are. They are chubby creatures with 4 pairs of legs and claws, or sucking discs, that grow to a maximum size of 1/15 of an inch long. There are about 13,000 different tardigrade species, however they all have similar characteristics. The fact that they can adapt and survive in any environment makes them extremely valuable to research. They can withstand high radiation, extreme pressure, and a complete lack of air or food, regardless of how hot or cold they are. Even though just one of them would be enough to kill almost any other known species, tardigrades can construct a protective shell around themselves and reappear when conditions are safe. They are generally found in water or on lichens and mosses, and they can be found in large numbers where colonies live. 25,000 individuals can be found in a single liter of water, and they only eat plants or bacteria. Tardigrades have existed for hundreds of millions of years and have survived all 5 known mass extinction events that have wreaked havoc on the Earth. It is thought that by learning more about them, we may be able to identify ways to protect ourselves in harsh settings, with a particular food focus on how to stay healthy during long-duration space flights. Number 4. Neliptodes grede beetle, a species that was first discovered in a museum's collection in the 1960s but was only recently named and acknowledged in 2019. Their color is a delicate yellow and golden, and they're only 0.03 of an inch long. They're so small that the original collection is supposed to be the only time they've ever been seen, which explains why they're so easily misplaced in museum archives. This species lacks eyes and wings and may be distinguished from other similar beetles by the telltale hole on its face where the eyes would typically be. They reside in lead litter and dirt, where they can feed on fungus and spores, which is made easier by their sensitive antennae. These structures are commonly compared to ponytails, which is why the beetle was given the name Neliptodes grede in honor of Greta Thunberg, a famous teen environmental activist who wears her hair in a similar manner. Number 3. Loridia collini spider. Because they are a sort of velvet spider that lives underground, there are 3 species of Loridia spiders: Loridia anulipe, Loridia collini, and Loridia lucasi, all named after Velvet Underground guitarist and lead singer Lou Reed. Andalusia and Spain's southern coast are home to this species. They live in hills and steep terrain, and they have certain uncommon qualities, similar to velvet spiders that live above ground. The first is that they have been discovered to work in communities and help one another raise offspring. They have a maternal instinct for spiders that is nearly unheard of, and they essentially sacrifice themselves for their young. Unlike many other spider species which have been observed eating their own hatchlings, the mother of this species begins to liquefy her own internal organs in order to supply food for the spiderlings, and continues to do so until she runs out. The young will then consume the remainder of her body before venturing out into the bigger world. Number 2. Leaf-tailed gecko. There are hundreds of various sorts of lizards and geckos around the world, but one island in particular has evolved independently from the rest of the world and is home to a plethora of unique species. Madagascar. A new species of leaf-tailed gecko was discovered exclusively in 2019, and it was a particularly special year with the announcement of a new species of leaf-tailed gecko found exclusively in the Ankarana Special Reserve. They have a similar appearance to other leaf-tailed geckos. However, there are some distinct characteristics. Their tails, for example, are much longer, and their backs have a silky skin. Researchers initially believed that they had discovered an uncommon specimen of a different species, but after discovering several more, they realized that they had discovered a completely new species. The pigmentation on the inside of their mouths is another feature that distinguishes them. Other species have completely black mouths, but this one has red marks. Work is now being done to determine how far they have spread and whether they are facing any threats. Number 1. Vogelkop superb. Birds of paradise are some of the world's most beautiful and unusual looking birds, found in New Guinea and eastern Australia. They reside in the mountains of western New Guinea's Bird's Neck Peninsula. They have deep black plumage that absorbs 99% of the light that shines on them, but this darkness is contrasted by turquoise blue feathers that play a very important role in their mating ritual. The unusual dances and courtship practices of birds of paradise are well known, and this species is no exception. Indeed, the manner they hop around in is so different from other birds that it was one of the first signs that they were their own species. With that being said, here we come to the end of our video. I hope you liked this video. If so, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.